All right. Alright, so that'll be that guy. So we need to go to our platform manager and add another function here with all the callbacks. Alright, so this will be on load stat leaderboard callback. Alright, okay. So let's go ahead and snag our stuff here. We're going to need, this is the wrong function. We need a request here for this guy. There's our callback delegate. We don't need this. Alright, get platform. Alright, so this will be our delegate. Bind, fetch stat history. No, we'll do this. Okay, so we need set interval IDs. So intervals, so we got that. We need the stat contexts. We need the stat names. Well, what? Stat names just the sort names. Alright. Alright, we need include users, include self. Alright, so we'll set include self to true. Alright, now what we'll have to do is fail to fetch stat leaderboards for interval. Got stat leaderboards back from server. We need to make an event for this guy. Where the hell is the events? Alright, so we need user stat leaderboard updated. So what we're going to need is a list of users, a list of user stat profiles is what it looks like. So I think it's going to be a user stat leaderboard. So I need a game objects thing here. This will be a user stat leaderboard, which will have an account, and then our offline and online stats is what these are going to have, but it should be accounts. Accounts need a rank though. So it's something along the lines of user stat leaderboard account, and we'll have rank in here as an integer. I don't even know the fucking rank. Alright, we're just gonna leave it alone then. Because we literally do not have a rank for you. So we're not gonna have one. So accounts, it's going to be complex and an array. So you're not going to know your number 51. You're just going to have your stat, and it's just going to say unranked. You're not good enough to even have a rank if you're not in the top 50. Alright, so this is going to be get stats on here, and this will be on user stat leaderboard updated. Let's get number 7 going. So head over to our transformation utils. Let's check it out. Alright, so we need user stat leaderboard, and this is going to be a leader stat user. Alright. Alright, well, let's make sure it all compiles. So what we should have now is that we'll be requesting everything that we want, and we'll need to actually parse all this information out of here. Let's make sure we got the calls right though. So what does a user stat leaderboard even have inside of itself? It's got the interval, stat context, stat name, and then a whole bunch of user leaderboard stats, which have an account ID and then a stat value. Stat name, stat value. Like, we don't have the rest of their stats, we just have the one stat. I mean, pretty much what they should have is the stat value and the stat name, is what it's supposed to have. And that would allow us to actually do things. Okay, so this is going to go through, and for every leaderboard, do we have extra stats? So what this doing is we're grabbing the stat leaderboard for this stuff, and then we're snagging all the stats for all the users that we fetch from the database, and we have the stat context. We need to fetch everything. So what kind of needs to happen here is we have the accounts, and then we want to fill everything out on the accounts. So see, this is user stat leaderboard account, and that should have an account ID User leaderboard stat. Okay. So I need to fix all this code here. Hello, Lucas. Um, the I think Adam will be streaming today. I don't know though. His schedule is not something I always have time to follow precisely. But if he's gonna stream, what, doesn't he start in another hour? Like, it wouldn't be right now. So it's an hour early for him, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure daylight saving stuff screws everything up. Okay, so I have to fix all this stuff. Alright, so here I need kind of a hash map of strings to, this will be account lookup. So I need to make the account. And we also need to add it to the account lookup map. Okay, then we make a new stat. We don't need to set that guy, and we need to go to our account, stat values, add. Needs to happen there. Okay, so that will fill out all our accounts. And what is this? Fetch all the other information on the users. Okay, so we're actually going to snag all the extra information here. All the accounts should already exist, but if they don't exist, we'll have to make them. Hold on. What is this? This is get from user stat history? Um Okay, it's fine. So we'll snag the account. We've added it to the accounts. We then need to make the stats. There is no account ID, but there is this and we need to add it to the account.stat values. Okay, so we have every single stat on our leaderboard ready to go. So if we jump up here, what the hell are we doing with all this, the rest of this crap? We're getting extra stat information? Why? Oh, I see. We're fetching extra information that may not be inside of the leaderboard. Alright, so if there are more results in the cache than were requested, trim the last ones off. Okay, so now grab extra users if necessary. So what happens when you actually start using things? Okay, so if we need to grab any more users, we will grab the extra users and we will add them. So we've snagged all these. We're going to need another map. Alright, so we'll need to add the account map. Like so. And we also need to add it to our leaderboard. Okay, after all that trash, we finally have something we can use. So that's gonna return us a leaderboard with all the information, including ourselves, and it will return all of the information for all the stats that are available for that interval for that user. Alright. So what we need to do now is transform these user stat leaderboard accounts into actual accounts. So for every leaderboard, we need to go for, let's see, it's going to be leaderboard, get accounts. So it's going to be a T-array of so this will be user stat leaderboard account pointers. So for this thing, we're going to be making a I guess a user stat profile. So we'll do it like that. So we have the account. And that's going to be a whole bunch of stat values. So we need another transform. Fill user profile stat. And this is going to be an F user stat profile. Like this. Alright, so it's going to be info dot account. So I'll need the username there. And then we need this fill out user profile stat. That's for every account. This is going to be it's going to be a reference. So we get stat values. And then we're just going to call fill user profile stat with the we need the context. So we'll have the context, and we're gonna need the leaderboard. Get underscore stat context. Alright, I have no idea if that's going to work. But let's regenerate all the things. Excellent. Alright, let's build this thing. And inside of our platform manager, we already have all the transforms, so theoretically all our information should be ready to go and sent off to our JavaScript. So let's see if we can load our leaderboard data and that it actually shows up in our C++ code. Get stat values is not found. Well, that's because there needs to be an arrow. And yes, this account null pointer stuff is a bit overblown all over the place for null pointers and not crashing, but it's a multiplayer game, and normally with like a single player game, you don't really have so many like null pointer checks all over the place, because in a single player game it's kind of better sometimes to have the code blow the hell up if something's wrong, because then you can go fix it. But in a multiplayer game, that kind of swings in the other way, because if one player out of like 20 in a match has a crash bug, that ruins the game for the other 19. I mean, and the one person who crashes, but it's even more important not to screw up. It might be better just to have that person be like, oh, well, something screwed up in your UI for a while. Deal with it. As opposed to crashing. So it's kind of covering up, it's kind of a practice that covers up errors, but at the same time Because you don't want errors to be covered up. You want to fix them. It's supposed to be like, oh, why is this account blank? I don't know. So we'll get all that going. Nothing too crazy today, just the leaderboard stuff, which is really pretty. It's interesting how just much data, how much of a pain in the ass is to get all this sort of stuff out there. At the end of the day, you've got one number, and the number is correct. As opposed to, like a big game feature or something like, oh, we've got new abilities and new everything. You'd be like, nah, we have a number. It's the number of times you've won a match. It took us 2 weeks. What? Alright, well, let's put this up. Let's see if we get our leaderboard information and all that. Nothing happened. That's because we haven't actually called our function. Did we even set the top number? I don't think we did. Let's go see. Yeah, we didn't set it. What's it called? Top number? So the other thing we have to do is we actually need to register for our event. So at least we've got that going on. Failed to fetch stats for interval 500. What? Alright, you have an error in SQL syntax. Okay, so select star from stats, user stats history, where interval ID equals this, and stat context equals this, and account ID equals this. Let's see. So, why is this messed up? Oh, I don't have an equals right there. Okay, so let's look at our response. So we have account, we have an interval, and we have no accounts in that interval. Online score. Okay, so if we grab this leaderboard, we've got stats here. We have no accounts in those stats. All right. Past interval is null. Alright, so I want to add a never cache thing in here for my configs for local development, so I can easily turn this on and off. Set services, config, so check all this out. So stats, never cache leaderboard. Okay, so that should be set now, and the config system's totally dynamic, so we should be able to just get never cache, which is true because I set it. Alright, so leaderboard. Where the hell are we? Check lock check. Got fucked by it. Damn you, optimizations and thread safety. How dare you stab me in the back. Alright, so alright, so the problem is we're not getting any accounts. So let's see, why wouldn't we have any accounts? Like, we're supposed to be adding them right here. Leaderboard stats, accounts, add account. Leaderboard stats, accounts, add account. So pretty much what must be happening is that there's some sort of issue with our account IDs. Okay, so max users is 100, fetch stat leaderboard. So select from let's see, what is this statement? Select star from user stat history, where stat context, interval ID, stat name, order by stat value, descending limit 100. There's 3 question marks. Alright, so our result has got no objects in it. Oh yeah, we're looking at the online leaderboard, which has got nothing in it. Alright, so these guys will stop caching all this shit. Okay, well there's nobody in the online stuff because nobody's actually done any local online play, which makes total sense. So what we need to do is go to the offline. Alright, so I've got 2 accounts for this guy with stat values for wins. We got 4 wins there for that guy, and we got 2 wins for that guy. Alright. How come we only have those basic stats though? Like, we should definitely have more information on these users. So we've got our leaderboard back, but it doesn't have the right stuff on it. It's close, but it's not there. Okay, so we're going to grab our leaderboard stats. Fetch stat leaderboard is going to have all that. Then we need the extra information on those users. So we want to go here. Okay, so select where account is this or that. Interval context, interval ID, stat context, interval ID. Let's see, what is our history array? Nothing. So do we care about the interval? No, we don't care about the interval context because we have the interval ID, so who cares about that? And we've got 2 account IDs, so get from user stats history prepared. Stat context. ID. Do we have the statement? Oh, it's in error. Alright. Unable to fetch, couldn't create select star from stats where this. Stats, user stat history, where stat context is this, interval ID equals that, and account ID or. So let's see, why is this wrong? Must be something else wrong. Oh, we're starting our database counter from 0 instead of 1. How quaint. Awesome. So we've actually got all of our information here. We have our online stats and our offline stats, but honestly none of that matters because we actually have them split apart. So our information is now on our client and inside of our UI, and I can start putting together all of that. Alright, well, I'll be right back.